Welcome to the 2010 Ground Support Leaders of the Year Awards. Thank you for joining us for another year to recognize leaders in the industry. It's great to have so many members of the ground support community gathered here to acknowledge the achievements of individuals and companies. Recognition is important to foster further progress and innovation within the industry, so thank you again for being a part of tonight's event. This evening, we will present 6 awards to individuals or companies in 6 separate categories. The nominations were received from individuals within the industry and voted upon by members of our editorial advisory board. The first award to be presented tonight is the Team Leader of the Year Award. Similar to the original Leader of the Year Award, this title is for an individual who has taken a leadership role with personnel. To introduce this year's recipient, I would like to call up Terry Larson, Area Automotive Manager at UPS.
The shortcut? Was that short? Good evening, everyone. I have the pleasure of announcing the Team Leader of the Year Award for UPS. And this individual has worked for the company for over 20 years. He's actually kind of been known as the trouble tree guy. Everyone always goes to him. Instead of having a family trouble tree, he is the trouble tree for UPS. Lannis has used him for many occasions as far as evaluating K-loaders and what have you out of the Oakland airport. And he's already starting to, I can see him over there shaking. But a couple other things. He's been with UPS for 20 years. He is an industry leader. I tell you, everybody does tap into Joe. Louisville, Kentucky is where our main operation is. And they even tap into Joe on many occasions for that too. But furthermore, GSE fleet that he oversees has logged over 71,000 hours in the last 2 years with only one single minor breakdown. And also in 2008 and 2009, he reduced his overall cost by $20,000, even though in 2009 he had excessively higher hours. So he did a fabulous job, and it's Joe Daniels.
Break it before you get it.
You know, I appreciate this award, but without my bosses giving me the authority to run the gateways, so the way I know them and the way I was trained, I actually started as a mechanic at UPS with the airline and came up through the ranks where Terry was my supervisor. Now he's my big boss, but without UPS support, I wouldn't be able to get awards like this. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. The next award that we have is for the Safety Leader of the Year. This award is for a person or company who has been introduced a new method, procedure, or product to improve industry safety records. This year's recipient is Sean Mack, Director of Training at Banyan Air Service. He is a 2-time recipient of the Safety Leader of the Year. I'll give you a little bit of background information on Sean. According to Sean's nomination, he identified and developed standardized lighting hold procedures. The steps can be used for irregular weather conditions, experienced on aircraft ramps. They are designed to protect customers as well as employees. They begin with identifying the threat, such as lightning within 5 miles, and notifying customer support staff of a fuel operations hold. Customers requesting fuel during the time are advised of a hold and placed to the fuel priority order, and are processed once the hold is lifted. When lightning is within 1 mile, all ramp operations stop immediately, and all employees seek shelter promptly. For this accomplishment, Sean Mack was chosen as this year's recipient, and so I would wish if you could join me in congratulating Sean on his 2nd Safety Leader of the Year award.
Will do. Thank you very much for the recognition of winning Safety Leader of the Year. Better than the recognition is the chance for me to give ideas that potentially could save somebody's life. After nearly being struck by lightning myself, the need for standardized procedures as far as handling lightning hold procedures was evident. I truly enjoyed the opportunity to give ideas and expand my thought process and just expand it to others that are out here. Anybody out here can develop a standard of ideas by identifying the need, training the procedure, and then enforcing the standard that you have developed. So again, I appreciate it and thank you for the recognition.
Next up is Kaizen Leader of the Year. Japanese for continuous and incremental improvement. This award is for a person or company who has implemented a new business philosophy about business workplace practices focusing on efficiency and improvement in productivity, performance, or processes. To introduce this year's recipient, I would like to call up William Bonnet of Allegiant Air.
Having known Sean for about 3 years, I can't account for his previous accolades, but in the short time I have known Sean, I know that in his first and foremost dedication is to his family, and that's hard to find somebody in this industry who can keep that in check. Sean's also accounts for purchasing most of the aircraft for Allegiant, and was heavily involved in Allegiant's growth plans, and has a knack for keeping Allegiant on an upward yet manageable plane. Then he was awarded the GSE department. And now's the time when I should get in a couple digs, but he tried doing this last year, and I still got the award, so why waste the time when there's an open bar? Sean believes that purchasing quality ground equipment is just like purchasing quality aircraft, and it can be justified and save Allegiant big dollars otherwise spent in expensive repairs and downtime. He requests that the industry's top providers come to us and prove to us their worth, because we're spending the investors' money and we want to get the most bang for our buck. But he does this all from watching aside. He never micromanaged, and he puts a lot into his managers and directors below him. He simply watched and learned and got the flavor of GSE, but had the total knowledge of the product before we signed the bottom line. Allegiant has a philosophy that works. After his many years with Allegiant, Sean has been able to take that attitude and bestow it in every department he touches, or else. Many people right here in this room can tell you Sean is relentless but fair, willing to listen and learn, and is forward-thinking, and always looking at every angle of the situation. At a time when many carriers are struggling, his never say never moniker is the perfect allows us to move forward and makes him the perfect candidate for this award, and puts Allegiant in the books for the second year running in the Kaizen Award. Sean Hopkins, Vice President, Allegiant Airlines.
Thank you, Bill. That was very gracious. It's true, I did make fun of Bill last year when he got his award, and I appreciate him not doing the same to me. I also appreciate the fact that this award recognizes our accomplishments. Quite simply, we succeeded by changing, and to understand the change in philosophy at Allegiant, I think it helps to understand where we came from. I started with the company as a consultant in mid-2003 when we had 3 MD-80s. The company was operated on a shoestring with just a couple $1 million in invested capital. It was very important to us to limit expenditures. It was in fact a matter of life or death. If we ran out of money, we would have ceased to exist. Fast forward to today, we have 50 MD-80s and a market value of over $1 billion. We're also adding a second fleet type, the 757. Our evolution is to a much, much more complex operation. Our service type, which is limited frequency, means that we serve multiple markets per aircraft as opposed to having multiple aircraft per market, which is more the norm in the industry. In fact, with over 130 city pairs, we serve, I believe, more city pairs than Southwest Airlines, which has 500 aircraft. And so again, it's becoming a fairly large and complex operation. I've been asked to lead a number of functions over my time at Allegiant, initially fleet planning, and did purchase most of the aircraft in our fleet. Also a fuel subsidiary, and a while back was asked to take over several procurement and operations-related functions, including aircraft stores, parts repairs, and ground support equipment. Recently, I was asked to take over airport planning as well. And I would say that over the past year, my greatest pleasure and success has been in ground support equipment. Because I've been in several areas, I've had the benefit of ignorance coming in. It's forced me to listen, learn, evaluate, and try and understand. How does one define the problems that you face? And given the definitions, how can you best mitigate those issues? To make good decisions, you have to construct frameworks to apply to the problems that you face. But you're often dealing with limited information, and for me, in these situations, experience. So we have to continually challenge our assumptions to ensure they're correct, and try to assure that the basis for our decision-making is true. This distinguishes good decisions from a bad one. The base issues in GSE were cost and operations support. To be more successful required us to reorient our thinking. The issue is no longer managing the initial cash outflow, but how do we most effectively support an increasingly complex operation? What equipment are we buying, and how do we manage ongoing service issues? There are issues of soft costs versus hard costs, and in particular, acquisition costs versus total cost of ownership. As a result of discussions between Bill and I, we were able to change the company's philosophy on GSE. At Allegiant, we purchase and fly used equipment. We purchased our fleet of airplanes from various legacy airlines in the world, Scandinavian Airlines, Finnair, and others. And fixing 20-year-old aircraft is a base part of our business. Fixing 20-year-old ground support equipment is not. Therefore, we set about to redefine our relationships internally and externally. We started to measure ourselves, our service providers, and our equipment. We established higher standards and expectations. We also standardized on equipment and manufacturers. We determined preferred manufacturers, established standard purchase terms and prices, effectively automating the purchasing that's required to support growth. We moved to phase out less reliable equipment, and we tightened our working relationships and communication with internal groups, such as airport operations and aircraft maintenance. As a result, performance in the department is at an all-time high. We're receiving high grades internally and are perceived as a good support organization. And as well, total cost is down. We got here, again, by taking a very open approach, asking ourselves and others, what are our most significant issues? What are our objectives, and how can we best mitigate these issues? In closing, I'd say that success is great, but I believe we only succeed long term. The problems are rarely defined correctly the first time. I want us to step back, listen, learn, and evaluate. Continually challenge our assumptions. Continually challenge ourselves. Are we solving the right problem? Have we defined the problem appropriately? Is this the most effective approach? Thank you very much for your time.
you. The next award is our Green Environmental Award. This award is for a person or a company who has introduced environmentally friendly equipment or processes. This year's recipient is Neil Bennett. President of ETUG LLC. Sorry, I forgot that part. Neil began working around aircraft and related equipment at a very young age. At 18 years old, he gained employment with Mercury Air Group, holding various positions, including RAP agent, ramp manager, director of GSE, and vice president of sales. In 1998, he formed his own company, Compass GSE, and in 2006, recognizing a need to go green, he designed the ETUG, an electric baggage tractor that uses a standard 110 outlet for charging. He has gone on to create the E-Cart, a battery baggage cart designed to provide power to the ETUG for uninterrupted operation. In addition, he continues to develop the company's line of green GSE products. As one nomination stated, Neil deserves the award for his relentless efforts of promoting environmentally friendly, safe GSE at airports nationwide. Please join me in congratulating Neil Bennett, recipient of Green Leader of the Year.
You really need to get some Academy Award-winning music when people come up here. You know, Missy, I was told that there was a cash prize involved in this award. Is that true?
Somebody find my wallet.
Thanks, everybody. I appreciate everyone coming today. We're truly honored to win this award, considering our company is the size of a postage stamp compared to other companies in our field. It really is an honor, and it means a great deal to us. I believe the planet is experiencing some sort of global warming. I'm not sure whether that is a natural cycle of the planet or if it's created by us, the humans. However, this industry is contributing to the problem, and I think that's something that we all need to look at and make a change in that direction. Now with the ETUG and other products available to us at this fabulous and best GSE show in the world. Was that right, Missy?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. All of you can now go almost completely green in your operations. It's cost effective to do so in many instances. In closing, I would like to just thank all of those that nominated ETUG for this award, including Bill Bonnet. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that. It really does mean a lot to us, and thank you very, very much.
Our next award is the Engineer Leader of the Year. This award is for a company or a person who has introduced a revolutionary product. To introduce this year's recipient, I would like to call up Larry Terrazas, Vice President of Customer Service Policy and Planning at American Eagle.
Thank you, and good evening. Appreciate all of you being here tonight. Like our friends at Allegiant, American Eagle does not have a whole lot of money to spend nowadays. I think that's probably true of everyone in the room here. So when we ran across a company that had something new and exciting to offer, we were very excited to partner with ID Systems. If those of you were able to make it by the booth today or over the last couple of days, I hope you've got something there that you can take back with you as well. ID Systems is a publicly traded company that's co-founded by Kenneth Ehrman, a Stanford University graduate in 1993, and they pioneered the use of RFID technology for vehicle tracking through wireless systems. We at American Eagle have implemented this system at DFW and are getting ready to roll it out in the next 2 to 3 months at Chicago as well. The initial success of ID Systems technology came in 1995 as they developed and implemented the tracking system for the U.S. Postal Service. And in 1997, demonstrated a need for fleet management and utilization that led the company to develop the unique and patented technology for vehicle management system. To date, they have 9 patent awards, an additional 21 pending for the technologies that they have to offer. And we at American Eagle are very happy to have partnered with ID Systems, and to accept the award for Engineering Innovator is Kenneth Ehrman, who's the president of ID Systems.
Just want to thank Larry Terrazas, who was certainly a believer in our technology. So when you develop new technology, as cool as you think it is, and as great as you think it is, a lot of times it's hard to sell it. But Larry was pretty enamored with what we could do with ground service equipment, tracking where they were all over the airport, who was driving them, what they were doing. And when we got him to buy into that concept and how it could really benefit American and American Eagle, we were extremely excited to get it going. And it's going today, and I have to say, it's pretty cool. So seeing it in action, I think it's a lot of fun to watch, and of course, more importantly, it's really fun to see them benefit, reduce their fleet, reduce their costs, and use the technology to drive real savings every day. So I'm very happy and thankful to Larry and everyone at American for giving us that opportunity, as well as for nominating us today. And thank you very much for listening to us, and we really appreciate this award.
Okay, and at last, but certainly not least, we will present the Lifetime Achievement Award. This award is for an individual who has demonstrated commitment to the industry through a lifetime of dedicated service. To introduce this year's recipient, I'd like to call up Brian Piety with J&B Aviation Services.
As you can expect with anybody who's going to be awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award, there are many achievements to be talked about. There's not even close to enough time to talk about all of the things that were done by this individual, all the achievements, and all the wonderful things that he did throughout his career. But I will touch upon a few just to give you an example of what this man has done. The man being Lou Lombardi, of course. Lou started off with 8 years at the Army National Guard. He also attended the Glendale Junior College and the University of Oregon. Later, he went on to work for McCormick Morgan, where he worked for 29 years as the vice president. He was also a minority stockholder in McCormick Morgan. While employed at McCormick Morgan, he worked with industrial batteries and with ground support equipment and electrical equipment. Lou has worked and been associated with 400 hertz systems and 28 volt systems since 1962. He was instrumental in the first application of 400 hertz central systems in 1975 and has been a pioneer of most probably, of the 400 hertz central distribution systems in use today in the United States. He was involved in the first 575 volt distribution system utilizing paralleled motor generator systems. While most of these systems today seem pretty typical, they're in use all over the country, all the hangars, basically, remote parking positions utilize this type of a system, and it seems pretty common today. But you have to understand, at the time, in the 70s and the early 80s, this was very revolutionary. There was a lot of thought going involved in this, a lot of engineering work, but also trial and error. And there were some errors, and you learn by your mistakes. So this is a very knowledgeable person. Lou, to name a few of the projects or accomplishments that he did, just a few. One of which was he was the project manager for the B-1 bomber project in Palmdale. That was when it was Rockwell International. He was also the engineer of record for the San Francisco International Airport, where he oversaw the 400 Hertz system, the preconditioned air system, the gate park system, the potable water system, and the passenger boarding bridges. Another one, just to name, again, one of many, he was involved with the very first central PC air system, which utilized a mixture of ethanol glycol and water, using chillers to achieve that. In 1980, Lou was selected by the Air Transportation Association, ATA, to write a handbook, a guidebook for other engineers, architectural firms throughout the country. The guidebook's title was 400 Hertz Fixed Power System Design Guidebook. Kind of a technical name, but what it is engineers throughout this country and around this world use this book all the time. This is the basis of how 400 Hertz systems and distribution is done. And this was done again by Lou in 1980 and has been used, I don't know, probably over 10,000 times or more. I have no idea how many times. And that's what people utilize to do this. He was a member of the Society of Automotive Engineers, and he was the past chairman for AGE2 and AGE2C, one of the things that was done while he was chairman was solve a major problem that happened when the Boeing 747-400 came out, and that was with no brake power transfer. There was a problem that needed to be overcome with how that particular aircraft did the 400 Hertz on the aircraft, and there was problems. Lou figured it out, solved it. Lou was also involved and has been involved with both military projects and with commercial. Lou has been involved with fixed 400 Hertz systems for over 48 years. And these systems have ranged in diversity and complexity from very large central systems, 400 Hertz that is, to very simple ones. He has worked on over 1,000 central systems, 400 Hertz central systems, in one capacity or another. These are the accomplishments of Lou Lombardi, and those accomplishments alone would make him worthy of this award. But those that know Lou know this is only part of the reason why he's getting this award. It is not the reason. Lou has touched many people's lives, my own included. He has been a mentor of mine. He has touched many people. He has educated people. He is a gentleman. He is honest, and that is what has made him the man that he is for the length of time over the course of his career. Lou has brought people up, tried to educate people, bring them along, tried to explain to them how these complicated systems work. And it is because of that he has gained the recognition and the admiration of everybody that's dealt with him. He's looked up to because of these accomplishments, but he's looked up to also because of the gentleman that he is. And it is my honor to introduce Mr. Lou Lombardi as this year's Lifetime Achievement Award winner.
Thank you very much. I was not expecting that, and I can't believe that I did all that stuff. I feel kind of like a dinosaur in this company because I've been around so long. But I was telling Brian, he said, well, what are you going to put in your speech? And I said, golly, I don't know. But I'll probably start with something like when I started, airplanes had propellers. In 1962, I can hardly believe that. And I've watched the whole iteration of airplanes come through from the first jets, the DC-8s and the 707s, Convair 880s, all the way up now to the 787 and the A380 and all the things that have been thrown at us in that regard from ground equipment is probably a good thing because I think it's kept a lot of us in business with all the changes. I'm really grateful to the guys at J&B because I know that they sponsored me for this, and I truly, truly appreciate it, and I feel very honored to receive this award. Thank you.